at least half my land will be turned into a cover crop, because that gets rid of the white grubs, for one thing, and also it definitely improves the land. I do believe, I don't believe in no-till. Well, for crying out loud, I'm purchasing a rototiller. But the main problem with tilling the earth normally is the weight of the tractor. So it's not so much that you break down the soil. But so I'm trying to find a happy place between one thing and another. What will I do with my white grubs that is safe and, of course, legal? That's very important. It doesn't do well for Texas Rebel to show up in New Hampshire and break the law.
Do you plan on doing mulching of any sort?
Oh yeah, of course.
What do you plan on using?
Right now I don't have any. I'm going to be planting veg.
Veg.
Are you familiar? VECTH?
I am.
Oh, VDCH, yes,
yep.
Veg. So I like veg. I like veg, and again, it's something that I learned when I was an agriculture engineering student. I learned about, but I couldn't do it in our land because it needs water. And here I am going to be having my own water. So everything should work.
So water is central to it all. I think you're absolutely right about that.
And it is. And then you have the issues of having too much. So I have my plan B, which is high tunnels.
But you don't currently have high tunnels.
No, I don't.
And the high tunnels would be for which crops?
Well, for the strawberries.
For the strawberries.
Yes. They are very happy with high tunnels, except with the problem of excessive heat. But one problem at a time, as my dad used to say.
Is there anything else about your growing practices or your strategy in that area that we haven't talked about yet that you'd like to share before I switch gears a little bit?
Not really. I mean, tilling the earth, keeping it properly watered. I mentioned drip irrigation.
Yeah.
I do believe in drip irrigation. It works very well. A little side detail, a little bit of personal pride. Because of my background in electronics, I do intend to have automated systems if I go the high tunnels route.
Nice.
To have automated systems for the ventilation.
Yeah.
But
I dream of that.
It's down the road. It's not quite yet, and of course I would want to avoid, one, the expense, and two, extremely important, the time sink that any kind of creative project can become.
Oof. I hear that. That's for sure.
Okay.
So I'm hoping we can talk now about finances and some of the financial pictures of what you have going on and what you're planning. So the first one is, I'm just wondering if your farm business is incorporated in any way. Like, is it an LLC, or is it just are you just working as a sole proprietor or a general partnership right now?
Okay, sole proprietor, and that probably until I have to get acreage.
Until you get more acreage, gotcha. And can you talk to me about like what other income streams you have coming into the household and how you plan on balancing that with farm income in the future?
Yes. Okay. So how do I say? No, it's not spiritual. The philosophical background of things is that I grew up with the Hispanic mindset. And for a Hispanic person, the man earns money for the household and the woman stays at home. That was not the case for my parents. My parents were both employed as much as they could because they really cared about giving us kids, me and my sister, the best education we could. That was the big focus for them, and it wasn't cheap. And but I had that mindset, and alas, my dear friend, I have never been able to achieve it. So circumstances have been such that I have married a very hard-working person who actually has continuous employment, and as a family we have depended on that income. But I have never been happy about it because that's just not the way it should be. Now you can laugh it off in so many ways, but you can understand, and you have had, I've seen that you have worked with people from other countries. You have the culture that you have, and you have to deal with your own phantoms and whatnot, and this is one that has always been a problem. So I have always tried to somehow achieve an income and essentially failed at that. A lot of that has to do with the fact that I have terrible people skills. I tend to tell people what they need to hear, and believe it or not, people are not very thankful about that.
Even though that's oftentimes the most important thing.
Yeah, so my employment has been splotchy, and the best income I have made so far has been coding. I am a pretty good computer coder, if I may say so myself. And when I have been able to have somebody hire me, we have all been happy, but I am very bad at selling. I'm terrible at selling. I'm horrible. I'm useless. So when it comes to trying to get contract work and so on, I essentially have failed. So then I have tried this and that other business. Bottom line, as soon as possible, I hope that my farm work will make us solvent, but meanwhile I have to depend on my wife's income. So that's my sad story, and for someone from Bolivia it's embarrassing, it's shameful.
Yeah, that must be a lot to have on your shoulders.
Yep. And by the grace of God, my wife has accepted this state of things without complaining too much. But she also wishes that we had an income, of course. Don't we all? Because we don't have kids, we can live on one income.
I see.
Mostly okay. Yeah.
If you feel comfortable sharing, can you tell me about how much she's making and what she does for work?
Well, she used to make more than she's making now because she essentially has been, what's that word, not fired, but
furloughed?
That one. With all things that have been going. So nowadays she depends on contract work and whatever part-time work she gets. So our income right now will be about 70, I believe.
And what is she doing for work?
Data science. She's an amazing analyst of data.
Very interesting. Cool. And do you and your household have any significant debts?
Not at this moment. But we are afraid on what will happen now that we have two houses.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, what about the land? Do you own the land outright? Do you have a mortgage or some other scenario?
This is one thing that I want you to sort of commingle with other information and not quote me. But yes, we do own the land, yes.
Okay, so you're not paying a mortgage on it right now?
Nope.
Right, so at least there's that weight off the shoulders.
We just have been frugal for many years, which is another advantage of being Bolivian. And when this came about, well, we're still sort of reeling of the shock because that meant putting our savings into something as crazy as a second house.
Yeah.
We're still trying to figure things out.
And by second house, do you mean your first house? Do you have one in Austin?
Correct.
And is someone renting that out or something while you're gone?
We're trying to get that figured out, and it's so complicated. 18 years here, you wouldn't believe how much junk I'm pulling from every